Okay, we're so sorry. Technical problems. Back at it. So let's go back to the PowerView Generation 3.
So PowerView Generation 3, we already supported the old gateway, and now we support the Generation 3 gateway, which you can control indoor shades. Let's look at it into Loxone Config. We have a Generation 3 gateway, and you can find the gateway with the network search, and when searching for the periphery, you will find the scenes and shades. And when I save to the Loxone Miniserver, and I will discover the scenes and shades. Thank you. Now you also can see Loxone Config. So we have here the PowerView Gen 3 gateway. We have scenes, which we already were able to control. Now we also can directly control the target position of the shades. And by simply dragging, the shading block already starts blinking, and you can drop it, and now the shade is already integrated in Loxone Config and your project. Could also be done with auto configuration.
Perfect. So this is also to support any other big market leaders that are in this interior shading segment, like MHC, Luxaflex, and so on. So for different countries, we have different market leaders who we are trying to support with this new feature. And for those of you who haven't heard or weren't able to hear the start of the webinar, let's just quickly capture what was OCPP and what was new with it.
So OCPP, our Open Charge Point Protocol integration, is now in the release state with version 15.2. And we added missing features like remote start-stop and error reporting to the backend, and also some self-checks.
Okay. And also charge point certified now, which opens up a whole new world for our Loxone wallbox. Okay, back to shading. We also have a new output, right?
Yeah, the target position output, so the shades are directly connected to this output, and the shades then get the position and directly drive to that position.
Perfect. Sounds pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that summer is over here in Austria at least, and we're now freezing instead of too hot, there's also something new for heating and cooling, right?
Yeah, with version 15.2.1 we improved our integration for the AC unit controller, and now it's also got a feature which was missing until now, the history, which we already know from the light control or shading controllers. You can now see directly, okay, what's happening with my AC, and why is it on or why is it off.
Perfect. And also the heating.
Exactly. When in heating, and also the intelligent room controller, which already had a history, but it's now improved and more readable for our customers.
Perfect. Sounds amazing. Talking about audio, we also have something new in that regard, right?
Right. So a long missing feature is a fading for audio. So for example, the buzzer, it directly goes to the full volume, but now with version 15.2 you have a setting where you can define from 15 seconds to up to half an hour of fading. And when you define this, for example 15 seconds I have defined in my case, and I change the volume on the volume input, it smoothly transitions to this new volume. So change it to 16, and you can see at the bottom it gradually goes down. So you can use it for the volume input. So for example, here at the Loxone campus in our restaurant, we have different volumes at different times. For example, at night the music is much louder, and now it transitions smoothly.
So now if you want to go to a restaurant and you eat lunch there, it transitions slowly and steadily without you noticing to a bar scenario. So pretty cool. You should try it out. Okay, the health check got a new feature. What's that about?
So the health check feature for diagnosing problems in a system got an additional feature for the Audioserver. So it's now possible to detect IP conflicts. So it could easily happen if you have a static network and set to a static IP address, and then you could run into an IP conflict, and now you get a diagnosis and you can see, okay, there's something wrong. Maybe I need to check my IP addresses.
Perfect. Last but not least, the message center got something new.
So the message center is already here since a few years. You can see the news which Loxone publishes to our customers, but now we have a new tab here, up here, home, and you see the most recent 2 messages, and you can directly see, okay, what's new in Loxone and what else.
So partners, check out your partner portal for the new design. Okay, Lucas, thank you so much for all of the news that you just told us about. And now I want to switch to my colleague Marcus, who's going to tell us all about what's new in the realm of Exosphere. In terms of Exosphere, we have a lot of new exciting features that we want to share with you, or even a little design update. So Marcus, thanks for coming and thanks for talking to us today. Let's dive right in.
Happy to be here. So this release of Loxone Exosphere is a pretty big one. On the one hand, we completely revamped the user interface design to make it more slick, more efficient to use, to make it more user-friendly overall. And we also added a bunch of new features. Let's dive right in. Let's take a look at the user interface, the newly designed user interface. So we tried to make as much space as possible for your data that's most relevant to you, so you can focus on the important things, right? And what's important? The status of your miniservers is most important, of course. That's why, for example, we added a new feature to this Miniserver overview, which is the system status overview. So for large installations, you see on a glance what's wrong and what's to do with your installation, right? You don't have to click through all your miniservers one by one, right? Also, of course, this miniserver list can now be sorted, for example, by system status severity. So if there is something happening in your installation, you see it right on the top of your list.
Yeah,
right?
and you can get to it right away.
Exactly. Exactly. We also added a multitude of features to be better able to manage your miniservers. For example, you can now set the update level of your miniservers to not only the latest release, but also beta or alpha releases. So for those of you who want to be on the cutting edge, you can do that now through Exosphere. All right, what else? You can, for example, connect to the Loxone Config with one simple click right here from the miniserver list. Loxone Config opens and you are connected to that miniserver right here. Same is possible, of course, with the Loxone app, as it was up until now already.
Perfect.
All right, now let's talk about adding miniservers to Exosphere.
Okay.
This was completely revamped. We worked together with the Miniserver team and the config team to make this way easier than before. So now, if you want to add a Miniserver from version 15.2 or above, you can now copy this so-called provisioning code and simply add it to your network periphery, right? Within Loxone Config, you add a new network device, Exosphere. In here, you paste this provisioning code. You select the user you would like to use. You save into the miniserver. Done.
Super easy, super fast.
Exactly. So after a few seconds, this miniserver will now appear in this workspace and is connected to the Exosphere workspace. Right? This makes it way easier, for example, with multiplicator projects. Or you could distribute this provisioning code to your partners, external partners. They do not need a Loxone Exosphere account.
Like franchisees.
Exactly, exactly. So that's way easier now. All right. So one other major part that was revamped with this new release was everything within this data visualization area of Loxone Exosphere, right? We not only revamped this overview to make it easier to find stuff, but we added a multitude of features to this diagramming and also system schematics feature. Let's dive right in. The most important thing probably is you can now, way easier find and search for controls in your Miniserver fleet, right? For example, if I would like to add some status blocks to this diagram, I can just search for temp and I get everything that matches this search term.
Okay.
But this is of course not really that handy for really large installations like the Loxone campus. That's why we added this advanced search, where you are now able to filter your blocks by your Miniserver structure, by category, for example.
So climate, for example.
Let's choose climate, exactly. And now let's take some of those meeting room names, Amsterdam, Barcelona, and Dubai, for example.
Those are rooms we have here in the office.
Exactly. And now I would like to add those 3 intelligent room controllers to my diagram. I just select all of them, add 3 controls. In the second step, I can now assign the outputs, or what's especially new with this release, we can now import and show Miniserver statistics within Exosphere. This means all your already stored statistics on your devices can now import it into Exosphere and be regularly updated. And you can so compare multiple data series, of course, within one chart, right? This import happens on the fly. It can take a few seconds, depending on how much stuff you have on your Miniserver, right? All right, we added a few new visualization options like this instant view, for example, and lots of other stuff. Please play around with this new feature.
Yes.
We added lots of stuff in here. All right, one other very often requested feature was the data export, which can also be done now for diagrams. You can export the data that's used for diagrams as CSV files, for example.
And here we should add, we listen to what all the testers, all of the beta testers said, all of the ones who've been using Exosphere, and the more people who use Exosphere, the more we learn and we can improve it to fit your needs. So thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for using it and trying it. It helps a lot.
Exactly. All right. So last but not least, let's dive into an area that's not about features,
Yes.
but another area where we listened to you guys, which is the licensing model, right? We got the feedback, we got the message, the licensing model is too complex,
Yes.
right? That's why we made it way easier. So with the new release, in the next few hours, we transition all the existing workspaces to the new license model, which is as follows. We have now only Miniserver licenses, which can be used for different Miniservers over time. You no longer have to assign a license to a single specific Miniserver, but you can rotate Miniservers basically for this license. Also, you get 3 months free of Pro or Enterprise usage with all Miniservers.
So a test period for you, which is 3 months.
Exactly. So you can play around, try it out. And of course, 3 months is probably enough time to use Exosphere during the installation phase of a project, right?
So all of the essential users are automatically upgraded to the Pro version for the next 3 months, starting today.
Exactly. So Essentials will no longer be possible in the future, but we will upgrade all existing Essentials workspaces to Pro and start this free trial period.
Perfect.
Right? One other benefit which makes it also cheaper to use, user licenses are no longer required.
Perfect.
So you can just invite your personnel, other people, external users to your Exosphere workspace. You no longer require a user license for that.
Perfect.
And the cherry on top is we eliminated all the storage limits from Exosphere. So the storage add-on license also is gone completely. We apply a fair use limit now. You get a warning once you kind of reach this fair use limit, but that's pretty high. It's basically our task to take care of having enough disk space.
So no worries, you have almost unlimited storage space now.
Exactly.
Okay, that's it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Exciting stuff happening. So if you haven't, try out the Exosphere, Loxone Exosphere I'm sure there's a bunch of features that you can benefit from. Thank you so much, Marcus. Also, thank you, Lucas, for joining us today. I hope you found it informative. I hope you join us next time when we go live. And please let us know in the comments what you want to know, all of your questions. We'll get to answering them soon, and have a nice day.